Well, greetings, Newburgh family. Welcome to our last installment of Around the Table. We started this dialogue series back in Lent as we went first into our stay-at-home orders here. And with the season of Lent over, and now that we're in Easter, we're happy to be bringing this part to a close. And we'll look forward to a new end of the week series that we'll be bringing to you later on throughout the month. But we are in the season of Easter here, and so our discussion today, given the limits that we have and what we normally do at this time of year, we use the Easter season to bring the risen Christ out into the world. And we've had a lot of different ways that we have done that, both inside the church in our own pieces, but also the ways that we have reached out to the community. It dawned on me that just this week coming up, on Sunday, we would have begun setup for our spring rummage sale. That's not going to happen this year as we continue to social distance and we continue to stay safe and not expose everybody. That's a big fundraiser that we have not only for the church, but also for the various missions that we support. And in many ways, that's a mission in and of itself, as we're able to provide, in a lot of ways, basic items for people at a very affordable thing for our community so that they can come and still have those things that we're not using anymore and able to live in a good standard that we're able to provide for the community. Right now, we're just not able to do that. But we're always looking at other ways that we're able to reach out. And a lot of those things have to do with our contributions and how our financial contributions can help to do that too. So that's why it's very important that we continue to send in our contributions to the church, and we can support the ways we can share in our community, but also with the larger community and out in our world through our ministry shares giving to the United Methodist Church. So there are several other ways too that we have reached out to the community and have been able to be a presence for Christ during the Easter season. And we're just having to do some things differently now. So Rodney, what are some ways that, particularly with our missions and outreach, that we're working in this time?
Well, the non-food pantry is still at full force. People can't come in and shop, but we are doing the boxes and then meeting them right outside the door. And we've still got a steady flow of people coming in for that. Still working with the city of Livonia. So in that way, it's still very positive. We're still meeting as mission groups and looking out ways here in the future that we can possibly make up some of the things that we would normally do but couldn't do this year. And then we don't know what's going to happen with mission trips or being able to do anything of that nature with the groups, because we don't know when we'll be able to come together. And then we'd have to look at where it would be and if that would work. And then financially, will we be able to do that this year? As many of the fundraisers and things have not been able to happen. But we continue to call, and we continue to speak with different people of the congregation. We're still working with Livonia Cares, and the Salvation Army is still doing quite a bit. And through Livonia Cares, we send quite a few residents over there. And we still get people come by the church occasionally and need something. So I'm able to go in and pull something out of the food pantry or something of that nature. So we're still reaching out where we can in this limited time and really planning for the future.
Yeah. Yeah, there's still things that we can do. It's just different, and we have to be a little creative. It's funny, as you brought up the going in just to get something out of the food pantry there. And one of the blessings that we've had is what I call a mystery donator. Every so many weeks, we just have a box of canned goods and dry goods left at the door for us to use. And so it's folks like that, folks who are doing simple things that help us to still be in mission and help us to bring the risen Christ out into the world, even though it's different. I know, especially when it comes to worship and music and other things, we've had to do a lot of things differently. So, Kyle, what are some things that you've been able to do to help bring the risen Christ out into the world?
Well, like you said, we obviously can't do a lot with music. We do have some music that's been going up on the Newberg YouTube page, um, but there's still just not so much we can do um, right now. But that doesn't mean there's nothing that can be done. I think one of the most effective ways um, to show the risen Christ to the world is through our presence, especially online. So many of us are connecting with others online via various different means. I think it shows who Christ is when we as Christians are the positive, reasonable but positive presence online. Um, I've been working on a version of the song, "Because He Lives" by Bill Gaither, and one of my favorite lyrics in that is because he or what is it? Life is worth the living because He lives. And I think that's something that a lot of the world needs to see and hear is, people like us, Christians who are in the world wherever we can be, but showing that there's a life that's worth living, not just a life in the hereafter, not just, oh, my sins are forgiven, but what we have now is still worthwhile. And so I think, there's so much negativity out there right now, and there's so much, depression. There's so much just anxiety. I think having even one small voice of saying, yeah, it's going to be okay though, or yeah, it's not great, but how can I help you? That's going to be much more of a positive impact in someone's life than an entire organization trying to do one thing or another. One person doing one thing for one other person can still change the world, even if we can't be together with them when we're helping.
Yeah, that's a really important thing for us to remember too. I know between the three of us and you and Allie and myself, who have some musical ability, we've been posting our own little things that we've been able to do at home, and in some cases playing with our audio equipment and computer toys. But those are the things that people I've noticed on social media have paid attention to the most, that it's ways that we can continue to bring joy there as well. Now, Allie, we've run into a lot of different things this year based upon this pandemic and how we've had to adapt here. So how are you still able to adjust and bring the risen Christ in the world in your different way?
Yeah. So like over this quick overnight shift is kind of how it felt like it happened. We had several meetings in a very short amount of time to go, how do we move forward without really skipping a beat, which I would say I'm very thankful for this group here and the others that are on our team that really came together in this time to make sure that we could continue no matter what was coming for us. And so the coolest part is that alongside that, I have my youth leader team who like instantly thought of fun ideas. So like we hosted our first youth group on Zoom about over a month ago now. And we did like a scavenger hunt through the house, but it was like the first bigger interaction that our students had, and probably many of us had with people on Zoom. And it was just cool that like no matter what, we still had a community there. So a lot of my focus has just been, how do I continue making that community happen? And especially when, as we continue on here, thinking of ways, how do we keep that going when this just is starting to become the norm a little bit too. So it becomes that same mindset as if we were meeting in person, where it's like, okay, let's continue seeing what the need is here and what it is now. Because every week, every day, it's almost very different, right? So we've been doing that through using our social media. We realized community was the biggest thing. We needed to create that and sustain that in this. So we launched an Insta story takeover where students or leaders or young adults even took over the Insta story, and you just kind of saw what were they up to during quarantine? What were they up to that day? Where did they explore? Or what are they studying if they're a young adult? You know, it was just a really cool way to see and keep that community going. And so we just continue to seek that and build that, because as we all know, like, that is what we're gonna be longing for the most as we continue on through this process. It's definitely not over, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely not over, and we're still going to be making adjustments going through. I was thinking as you were talking there about how we've been doing confirmation class online,
Yeah.
and both the challenges that come with that, but also with the blessings that have come with that too. It's enabled us to do some different and creative things to help keep them engaged as we're still trying to move forward. Talk about bringing the risen Christ, bring the next generation on through confirmation. So
Right.
we continue to try all of that there. Well, there's a lot of things that we're having to do differently, and there's there's traditions that right now we're just not able to do, and so we're always going to be adapting. But we look forward to bringing some of those traditions back as we're able, so we can serve our community in the best ways possible. But we continue to find ways even in this time where we can serve our community and meet the needs. And that's what our goal is going to be going forward throughout the rest of the Easter season here up through Pentecost and into the future as we deal with this, and trusting and praying in our medical staff and our researchers that we'll find a way to beat this novel coronavirus here, and be able to get back to doing the things that the church is not only used to doing, but able to do it in a new and improved way so we can reach more people. And that's been one of the silver linings, I think, again, of doing this online activity and community, is it's enabled us to reach more people than we haven't been able to before. So that's a great thing that's not going to go away. Want to thank everybody for joining in these last several weeks for our Around the Table discussions here. Again, look for a new Friday series that we'll be doing on interviewing folks, ministries that matter to us the most here. We'll have some more information coming up on my Monday Minute as we're getting new orders from the governor, but we'll also have, hopefully by that time, some new information from the bishop around how we're going to proceed as Newburgh Church going forward. So look forward to all of those things coming up. Join us again on Saturday. We'll have our Saturdays with Miss Karen for the kids coming up. And then join us on Sunday for worship. Reverend Gassaway, we're looking forward to his message that he'll be bringing that time during our worship this coming Sunday, and all of our online ministries throughout the week. Everybody stay safe, stay home, and God bless you as we continue to deal with this. Take care.